I mean, but in the big scheme of things, what did I pay for that camera? Like $30.
Yeah,
So
so
it's not a big loss. I mean,
we're we're trying a new
yeah,
camera.
we can go back to swapping the one camera back and forth. I did buy a new look, a racing chair.
Very fancy, Dad.
I hadn't had a new chair in years. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We are
Uh,
here to talk about
Sardines.
sardines. Yeah, she went on a sardine diet for 2 days,
72 hours.
72 hours, and lost 2 pounds, 2.5, maybe 3.
Google the sardine
Yeah,
fast. Do yourself a favor if you're struggling. Okay,
right. All right.
sorry. Kidding.
Yeah. So here's my takeaway from it. Wasn't a debate. Anyone that says that was a debate is slow and just you really
Simple-minded.
simple-minded. All right, because ABC Entertainment Show. I'm not even going to say news because we all know they're not news. The NBC Entertainment Show was horrible. I couldn't watch it. I've seen some clips. And from what I saw, it's exactly what I thought. ABC made accusations disguised as questions. They let Kamala Harris, who has no platform whatsoever on her website, you can go and look. She sat there and made up things after made up things after made up things. In other words, in our humble opinion, they were outright lies. Now, Trump made a few good points from what I can see, but he's got such a dry personality, I just don't care. Okay. The real takeaway for me last night is you have slow minded people. I would say retarded, but people think retard is a bad word. It's not. Look it up in the dictionary. It just means slow. Okay. You have slow people out there that have been looking for a way to justify because they already know how they're going to vote. They're going to vote for Kamala. All right. They already know this, but they're looking for something out there to justify the insanity of voting to destroy the economy even farther, let more immigrants into the country, and keep these perpetual wars going. For those of you that don't understand, let me explain right off the bat. Joe Biden took us to war on day one. He stopped drilling. Okay. Now, when you stop drilling domestic oil, what do you have to do? You have to purchase oil from overseas. So he put billions of dollars into Iran, which is a state-funded terrorist organization. They, in turn, funneled money to Hamas and to Hezbollah, all right? And I mean, from the river to the sea, that's real Nazi stuff. All right, that's the Democratic Party right there, which I find is strange because the rich Jews finance the Democratic Party. Once again, just my opinion, okay? Then a company called BlackRock owns I think it was 47% of the farmland in the Ukraine, all right?
Crazy like that.
Right, something crazy like that. So that explains your war in the Ukraine. Now, if we have a strong economy and we're energy independent, those wars will stop instantly. Why? Because there's no money. It'll dry right up. And then Venezuela, we bought oil from them too. What did they do? They emptied the prisons out and sent them to the United States. Now, I heard tell, I'm not quite sure, but this presidency, including Kamala Harris, if I'm not mistaken, this could not be true, but I've heard it from a bunch of sources. She has brought 5% of the Haitian population. 5%, think about it. Flown it directly into America. Flown, mind you, no border crossing. They flew them here, and then they put them in conservative neighborhoods in states that they're trying to make blue. All right, which I don't think it's going to work. All right, but anyway, I mean, it was just, they disguise accusations as questions, things that no normal person would care about, and they neglected to ask any questions whatsoever. Evidently, they fact checked Trump on a bunch of stuff, and they let Kamala Harris just make things up.
The funny thing is, she keeps saying, "Under my plan, what my plan? I have Nobel laureates, that sort of thing." Like,
Go to her
sweetheart,
website.
we're still waiting for you to share your plan with us. Here's the fun part,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I
What's
tell
he
you
doing?
what. This is the problem of not being discerning thinkers. Okay,
Right?
when someone uses someone else's credentials to give themselves leg up on the opposition, you know they have nothing. So, for instance, if I'll bring it to church planning.
Oh yeah, I like
If a
church
pastor
planning.
stands up there in your pulpit and he quotes Edwards and he quotes other pastors and or he quotes a study Bible that he read or a commentary that he read in order to bolster his point regarding the Bible, you know he hasn't done the hard work of studying himself and figuring out within scripture what that means.
No.
Same thing with Kamala yesterday. She used, oh, this guy say that my plan is good. This other guy say that this plan is
And
good.
she
And all
has
of
no
them,
plan.
but there was no true description of her plan. One and two, she's using someone else's credentials to bolster her facts, which are not really facts, but they made up facts so that people think, oh, she's got a plan. But no one is going to
You
bother to
got a
look,
plan, but you got to vote for me before you can see my plan.
and nobody's going to bother to go look for the plan.
Nope, they're not.
Okay, because this is the generation of
You have to, yeah.
this is the generation that doesn't care whether what someone says is true or right. As long as you pander to me, I'm okay with that.
Let me explain ABC News, okay? They're a staunch ally. For those of you that don't know, they're a staunch ally of the Democrats. They have long since stopped pretending, in my mind, of being a news source.
Yeah.
The person that owns ABC introduced Kamala Harris to her husband, okay? So there's such a strong connection between the two. Now, if you have to ask me, I thought it was just ridiculous for Trump to debate Kamala Harris because, face it, there's nothing there. She's never done anything. She has no policies. We all know how she got to where she was. All right. She's a DEI hire. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. That's exactly what Joe Biden told us he was going to do. So if it's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But I was shocked that Trump would get on the stage. Now, that shows courage because he knew it was a setup, all right? And the thing is there are people out there that they don't understand those weren't questions. They seriously have been told this is an issue we need to think about, right? Even though it means nothing at all. These are accusations disguised as questions. They got really good at it during the 4 years Trump was in the White House. Now, look, when Trump was in the White House, it's undeniably we had a great economy. And all the jobs like Kamala Harris is saying she created, no, those were, what they call it, a bounce back job. Those were jobs that were lost during the pandemic, and then they bounced back after. All right, so they really weren't. The vast majority of the jobs that this administration has hired anyway is government jobs.
Yeah.
You know, what do they call it? The IRS agents and things like this. But anyway, none of that matters. What matters is you have people that sat out there and they watched this, and now they have, oh yeah, Kamala, I'm going to vote. There was no one undecided, all right? Now, what I find strange is that these people know that this last 4 years has sucked. It's been horrible. But they're on the blue team. Oh, look at my blue shirt. I didn't notice that. Mm-hmm. They're on the blue team, and they can't get off the blue team, okay? Then you have people that think for themselves, all right, like us, and I'm voting for the economy and to stop the wars. Then you got the people that are totally out there in left field that think Donald Trump is some sort of a god. No, he's just the lesser of two evils. And if you care at all about the country, all right, if you care at all about the economy and about these wars, I mean, there's only one person you can vote for. But
let me tell you something.
You're going to do what you do.
Around the time that Donald Trump was president, we moved here.
Oh
right?
man.
Okay.
I
Fast
got
forward,
something on my screen right now. Okay.
fast forward a couple years. Used to be that every time we went to church on a Sunday, we take the kids out to breakfast or lunch after we come
Yeah.
home and all of that. We could afford to eat out a couple times a week,
Yes.
okay? And you know, we could go on shopping trips to Tyler, Texas, and have a good time, come home, all of that. Things would be good. We have our bills paid, no problemo. Fast forward to Biden economy, okay? It was a slow progression. The first thing we couldn't do anymore was to eat out. The other thing that we stopped doing was going on trips out somewhere to do shopping and things like
Yes.
that. So slowly our things have been, I mean, we don't we used to buy water,
We had
bottled
a great big
water.
old van. We had to sell the van because we couldn't afford to put gas in it.
That's right.
I mean, it's like
And slowly our life, not that we're complaining, because
no.
compared to other people, God has blessed us
Yes.
beyond our own wild beliefs or ideas. However, the amount of things that we could afford has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller as that. And I mean, like, I yes, and the reason I this is in my mind is because I was working our food budget the other day, and our income and all of that, kind of working our budget, and I realized there's a few other things that need to leave our house because we can't afford those either now, so now it's just, even my boys, young men, they bring lunch with them to school and to work, and
Yeah.
they buy, because this is how much this economy has shrunk, to the point
It's
that
horrible.
you can't even afford to do that, to go out for a meal as a family. Here's
But see,
the worst, my
mm,
my last point, and the worst thing that seems to me, my heart is for our heart is for the people that they couldn't afford life to begin with.
right.
Okay, they were struggling to begin with, our senior citizens and things like that. What do you think this has
Here's
done to them? I'm
here's
just
what
saying.
I've noticed. Okay, we're not poor people, and trust me, I'm not trying to brag at all. But I think we put what $250 a month into a food bank. Okay, and it they're food boxes. We fill them up, and the poor people come and take it.
They're called the little pantry
Yeah,
side, whatever.
but we filled up one of those boxes. It cost us, I think it was, we do this every month, sometime around the middle of the month, but we filled one of those up. And I mean, we filled it up to the point where you couldn't put anything left in it. Right. Then we get home, had my son throw some boxes away. And then my youngest daughter wanted to go buy makeup, was it, or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, she needed to go get some. Oh, anyway, we had to run an errand. So we figured we would go check on that food pantry and see if anybody had taken anything. Because, you're always curious. All right, we drove by the food pantry. It could not have been more than, say,
2 hours, if that.
hour and a half, maybe. I'm thinking
Yeah,
like 90.
2 hours
Yeah,
tops.
2 hours tops. It was empty. All right. Now, we used to do this before Trump, and the food would be there a few days, or during Trump. The food would be there a few days. But they've created such a horrible way of life, okay? And this administration makes people selfish. It really, really does, because they divide you into all these communities, all right? Everybody wants a handout. And the simplest thing that's happening in front of your eyes is they're replacing you. They are wanting these 20 million or 10 million. No one knows. That's how many people have came here. All right. No one knows. And how many people have came here, but they want them to vote. You're being replaced. And now's the time to stand up, because we've got to get rid of these people.
I would say one thing: if you're within the sound of this particular video, if
Yeah.
you're watching it, you're probably a conservative and you're
Yeah.
probably Christian.
Yes.
And I will say, I don't know if they
We're
drilled
preaching to the choir, in other
right.
words.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if this, and I'm going to take opportunity that I'm talking to the choir, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they drill this into you in your churches or your places of worship. But one of the Jesus's heart and God's heart is for us to take care of the poor and
Right.
the disenfranchised and the people they need. So if you have it in your pocket to help even a little bit, do a little free donate to the pantries, donate
Yes.
to the people. If you have a neighbor that is struggling, a senior citizen, especially our senior citizens that are on a
Yes.
fixed income, help anybody that can. Let me tell you, we have been in such a bad place
We have actually been on food stamps
that
before.
$20
Yeah. Oh my
gets
God.
you food for the
Yeah.
next 2 days. So if you have it in your pocket, help people.
And look, while she's talking about it, my pet peeve: stop putting expired food in the food pantry. Look at the expiration date, for God's sakes. Anyway, that's
And the
it.
last
Yeah.
thing I'll say about that,
Yeah.
if this is something that you would not eat,
Don't
don't
put
put
it
it
in
there.
there.
Okay, think about what they would want to eat. Whatever. But look, if you wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, what makes you think that
Yeah.
someone would do it? Okay, and don't. Yeah,
Anyway.
he's right. No expired
Yeah.
food.
But I mean,
Do it right.
I would like just in case anyone is out there of the other persuasion, you've got to understand that this administration, these are literally Nazi. These are their values: from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Think it out. They're talking about killing the Jews again. All through history, they're talking about doing it again. You look over there into the Ukraine. We are supplying a dictator. We're supposed to fight against dictators. This is a dictator fighting against a dictator. Zelensky has not had an election since he's been in office, nor does he plan on having it. I heard Telly bought a new yacht that's supposed to be pretty cool. But anyway, this doesn't concern us. And the mainstream media, or what they want to call themselves now, the legacy media. No, you're not. You're shit. I'm sorry. You're shit. Okay. Yeah, they are the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party. All right. This is just like Nazi Germany. The news tells you to hate Jews. You hate Jews because you can't think for yourself. But anyway, I'm just saying that was not a debate. It was a joke. I think me and my wife could stomach maybe 10 minutes. I'll be generous. And I just had to turn it off. It's a joke. All right.
Yeah.
I
Just,
mean,
if I may say the one thing, in the words of Jesus Christ, a house divided cannot against itself cannot stand.
yeah, and that's it.
And I mean, you can't have, if you call yourself a Christian and a conservative, the idea that you would vote for Kamala Harris needs to make you ill.
Look, if my mother had done what these people have done for the last 4 years, I would not vote for her.
That's right.
I would not. It's time for everybody to grow up and be an adult. Okay.
That's it.
I'm saying God bless.
God bless.
All right.
Toodaloo. Try the sardine challenge. Google it.
And remember, no expired goods in the food pantry.
That's right.
Please.
If you won't eat it,
yeah.
What makes you think they want to
Yeah,
eat it?
come on. All right. Anyway, God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.